Good morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed about some of the concepts which are related to the expressing the concentrations of the solutions like weight percentage, volume percentage, mass volume percentage, molarity, mole fraction, molality also we have discussed. And after that, we have also discussed some of the interesting concepts related to the solubility of the solutions, solubility of gas in liquid also we have seen. And after the completion of the solubility of the gases in liquids, there is one important concept that is called as Henry's law, and this is very important for the competitive exams like NEET and JEE also. And there is a very simple definition for the Henry's law. So here you can see I have written here. So the partial pressure of the gas in the vapor phase, that is P, is proportional to the mole fraction of the gas in the solution. Right? So here the partial pressure or the vapor pressure, if you go for the vapor pressure is nothing but the pressure applied by the liquid molecules on the upper surface of the container. So that pressure is completely dependent on the mole fraction of the solution, right? So whatever the solution you take. So further I will do some rough work, with that you can understand very easily. But just now remember this definition or the statement which was given by the Henry's law, that is the partial pressure of the gas in a vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gas, right? And he has given the expression that is P is equal to Kh into X, which means P is directly proportional to X. To remove that proportionality constant, they have given one more proportionality constant, that is Kh. So therefore P is equal to Kh into X. See here, so P is the partial pressure of the molecules and X is the mole fraction and Kh is the Henry's constant, right? So here we can draw the graphical representation for the Henry's law expression, that is P is equal to Kh into X. So in one axis we have taken the pressure in the y-axis, and in x-axis we have taken the mole fraction, right? So since the pressure of the molecule is dependent on the mole fraction of the solution, whenever you increase the mole fraction, the pressure also increases. So therefore here, if you see the graphical representation, in x-axis we have taken the mole fraction and in y-axis we have taken the pressure. So as the mole fraction increases, the pressure of the gaseous molecules also increases. So therefore the graph looks like this. It starts from the origin and it goes on increasing. So therefore, if you understand this graph, so then it's clear understanding about the Henry's law, right? So it's very simple. The pressure, that is the partial pressure of the gas in the vapor phase, is directly proportional to the mole fraction of the gases of the mole fraction of the gas in the solution. So here we'll do some bit of rough work here. Right? So according to Henry's law, so in case of Henry's law, basically we must understand here. So if you take a container, suppose assume that this is a container and this container consists of water molecule or some any kind of solvent molecule, and if I close this container with some kind of lid, right? So if I use a container and if I close this with a lid, so whenever you apply the external energy or heat energy, right? So whenever you apply the external energy or if you supply the temperature, so then what happens, there is a chance of formation of vapors on the upper surface of the container. So this is the upper surface, right? So whenever you supply the temperature from the bottom of the container, there is a formation of vapor. So this vapor creates an pressure, right? So whenever you apply the external energy or heat energy to the solution molecules, then what happens, there is a chance of formation of vapors, and these vapors, due to the closed container, they will collect at the upper surface of the container. So therefore they create a pressure on this lid of the container, and that is called as, right? So this is the lid. So on the upper surface of the container, it forms some kind of pressure, and the pressure created by these vapors is called as vapor pressure. So therefore in Henry's law, vapor pressure is very important term, right? So according to him, whenever the mole fraction, the solution concentration increases, the pressure also increases, right? So it's very simple definition. The partial pressure of the gas in vapor phase is directly proportional to the mole fraction. So this is the mole fraction. This can be taken as X, and this vapor pressure or this partial pressure can be taken as P. So whenever you increase the concentration of X, suppose if you take it is a 2 liter container, it will give some kind of vapor pressure, and if I increase that 2 liter to the 5 liter, so then what happens, again the pressure goes on increases. So which means here pressure is completely dependent on the mole fraction, which is very simple, right? So whenever you increase the mole fraction, right? So the pressure also goes on increases, right? So which means whenever you increase the concentration, the pressure of the molecule goes on increases. Similarly, if you decrease the mole fraction of the solution, again the pressure also reduces. So that is called as the directly proportional. This is very important. So this is directly proportional. So to remove this proportionality constant, so we can use one more, that is a P is equal to Kh into X, right? So here Kh is called as a Henry's constant. So here Kh is called as Henry's constant, right? So for the same thing we can plot a graph here, right? So in one axis we can take the mole fraction. Here I will take on the X. So this is called as a mole fraction. Right. So in another we have taken, that is y-axis. So in y-axis we can take the partial pressure. Right. So here whenever you plot a graph, due to the directly proportionality nature of the pressure as well as mole fraction, so this graph goes on increases. It starts from the origin and it goes on increases. So therefore this graphical representation is very important in case of Henry's law, right? So due to the directly proportionality nature of the pressure with respect to the mole fraction, so the graph is in the increasing order, right? So this is all about the Henry's law, and there are certain applications regarding with the Henry's law. So here you can see, so there are some important applications. These applications can be asked for 1 mark in the annual examination. The first important application is it is used to increase the solubility of carbon dioxide in soda water, which means whatever the soft drinks you drink, right? So basically they are called as carbonated water. So like Pepsi, 7-Up, Mirinda, Sprite, right? So whatever might be the soft drinks. So whenever you shake that bottle, so immediately if you open the cap of that bottle, what happens? There will be a liberation of a foam, or you can call it as a froth. So that is mainly due to the presence of carbonated molecules or CO2 which is present in that. So the more amount of CO2 if it is present, the more amount of the pressure is applied on the wall of the container or on the cap. So therefore more amount of foam can be produced. So basically in case of soda water preparation, the Henry's law is used, which means whenever the mole fraction is more, the pressure applied both by the molecules, that is vapor pressure, will be very high. Second one is in high altitude areas, right? So as you go above, in case of mountains or in case of any high altitude areas like hilly areas, so there, so the concentration of oxygen will be very less. So if you go in high altitude, the concentration is minimum, right? So on the ground the concentration of oxygen will be more, but as you go above, so the concentration of oxygen goes on decreases. So therefore whenever during the climbing of mountains, so the concentration of oxygen will be reduced in case of blood. So therefore there we have to use this law, and most of the cylinders, the oxygen cylinders or oxygen masks which we use during climbing, mountain climbing or deep sea diving, or in case of scuba divers, right? So that works on the principle of Henry's law. So these are the 2 and 3 important applications of Henry's law. So remember the law, I will repeat it once again. So the pressure, that is partial pressure of the gas in a vapor phase, you already know what is vapor phase, and it is proportional to the mole fraction, right? So whenever you increase the mole fraction, the pressure also increases, and we have seen the graphical representation here. So in x-axis the value of mole fraction goes on increases, and also the value of pressure increases on the y-axis. So if the value of x goes on decreases, again the same thing, the value of partial pressure also goes on decreases, right? So here this is for overall one component system. One component system means a container consists of only one type of solution. We will call it as a one component system. Suppose if I take 2 components, so one is a solution A, suppose this is solution A and this is solution B, right? So then I have to apply Henry's law for both the solutions or for both the components. So here what happens, the pressure applied by first molecules can be taken as P1, and pressure applied by the second molecules can be taken as P2, right? So here there are 2 different solutions. The pressure applied by the first molecules or first liquid in the first container can be taken as P1, and the pressure applied by the second liquid in the second container can be taken as P2. Similarly, it also has the mole fraction. X1 is the mole fraction for first container, and X2 will be the mole fraction for the second container, right? So here it is also directly proportional. P1 neck is directly proportional to x1 and p2 is directly proportional to x2. So therefore, whenever you add these two solutions, right, so whenever you mix these two solutions, so I will get the total pressure applied by the both the components. I can get the total pressure applied by the both the components. Then that P total can be given as P1 plus P2. Then that P total can be given as P1 plus P2. So this is very simple. So whenever you take a two component system or two different systems, so in what happens, in a container A there is one solution and in container B there is second solution. In container A, the mole fraction of the solution can be given as x1, and in container B the mole fraction of the second solution can be taken as x2. So the pressure applied by the first component can be taken as P1 and pressure applied by the second component can be taken as P2. Whenever you add two solutions, you can get the total pressure applied by the two solutions. Then that can be given as P total is equal to P1 plus P2, right? So whenever Henry's law is applied for two combined solutions, whenever Henry's law is applied for two combined solution, this is called as Rolle's law. This is very important, right? So Rolle's law is almost similar to the Henry's law. It also says P1 is directly proportional to x1 and P2 is directly proportional to x2. But the most important thing is, whenever you apply for only one component system or only one type of solution, then that can be given as Henry's law. When it is applied to the two different solutions or it's a mixture of two different solutions, then it is called as Rolle's law. Right, so you can also draw the graphical representation for the Rolle's law. Here you can draw. So this is for first component. I can draw the same graph here for the first component. Observe here. So this is for first component, and here same thing, right? So this I can take it as x1 and this I can take it as p1, and it also goes on increases. Even if you draw a graph for P2 also, it looks like this, right? So it looks like the same thing, right? So this is for the second component and this is x2 value and this is P2 value, and again it goes on increases, right? So if I plot this graph in the reverse direction, or if I take the one as the normal image and another one as the mirror image, right? So this graph I will twist to this side, right? So here, observe here. So this is the first graph. This graph I can draw like this also. This can be drawn like this also, right? So this is x2 concentration and this is P2 concentration, and it goes like this. So both graph are same. There is no any difference in the graph. This second graph is the mirror image of the first graph, right? So here also x2 value increases on the left side and P2 value increases on the above direction, and the resultant or the graphical representation can be given from the origin, and this goes on increases, right? So this second graph is the mirror image of the first graph, right? So therefore, whenever you combine the first graph as well as this second mirror image graph, then you will get the combined graph for the Rolle's law. It is very simple, don't get confused. So here there are two components. For the first component, I have drawn the normal graph. For the second component, I have drawn the normal graph, and to combine this both graphs, I have drawn the mirror image of the second graph. So therefore, now what I will do, I will draw the combined graphical representation of the first graph as well as the mirror image of the second graph. This is the second graph and it is having the mirror image. When you combine both graphs, so I will draw here, see here, this is very important. So this is one value, right? So this is one graph, and from this direction it is another graph, right? So if I close this, right? So if I close this, right? So here during the, if I close this, it looks like this is the first graph, and if I close this, this looks like the second graph. So therefore this is a combined graphical representation of both P1 and P2. See here, so it looks like a square, right? So but here if I close this line, right? So if I close this line, what happens? This graph looks like the first one, and if I close this line, this graph looks like the second one. So therefore, whenever you plot the graph, first graph, what happens? Here, the graphical representation was starting from origin and it goes on increases. So this is for the first graph, right? So I will extend here up to this mark, right? So this is for the first graph. It looks exactly like the first graph, right? So whenever I draw the second graph, in the same graph, right? So then what happens? It looks like this. It also goes on increases, right? So this goes on increases, right? So then you can get the resultant value, right? So here you can get the resultant value, right? So meeting of two lines, right? So therefore here we can draw, this is for P1 graph, this is for P2 graph, right? And this is for P total graph. So therefore P total is equal to P1 plus P2. This is very important graphical representation, remember, right? So here initially we have taken it as x1 is equal to 1, and when it comes to this side x1 will be 0 because it is a mirror image, right? So here x2 can be taken as 0 and here x2 can be taken as 1, right? So that is a mirror image, right? So this is the combined graphical representation of the first graph as well as the mirror image of the second graph, and this overall graph represents the graphical representation of Rolle's law. It's very simple. So first we must understand this single graph for the Henry's law. In Henry's law what we have did, since the pressure is directly dependent on the mole fraction of the component, there what happens, whenever you apply the graphical representation, in x-axis we have taken the mole fraction and in y-axis we have taken the pressure, that is partial pressure. So since P is directly proportional to x, the graph goes on increases. The same concept when we apply for two different solutions or the mixture of two different solutions, then it is called as Rolle's law. So therefore here I have taken two containers, two are different containers and both are having its own or a specific pressure as well as a mole fraction. So therefore there what happens, due to the application of this vapor, that is pressure created by the vapor, so here P1 is directly proportional to x1 and P2 is directly proportional to x2. So therefore whenever you mix two solutions, then P total will be equal to P1 plus P2. So therefore with the help of Henry's law graphical representation, if you plot a graph for this P1 and P2, it looks like this, right? So if you take the second graphical representation as a mirror image, then you can mix these two graphs, then the combined graphical representation can be given like this, and this is called a graphical representation of the Rolle's law, which is very important, right? So further, whenever you know the graphical representation of Rolle's law, so there will be two important cases, right? So this is called as the standard graph. This is like a standard graph, right? So whenever if you calculate the experimental values for the Rolle's law, so there are two chances, right? So whenever you get the higher value compared to the standard value, then that is called as positive deviation, and whenever you get the lower value, that is called as negative deviation, right? So I will explain here first one. So or this is called as a case 1, right? So in case 1 now what happens, whenever you observe this graph, if I get the higher value, right? So if I get the higher value than this normal value, then that condition is called as a positive deviation, right? So that condition is called as positive deviation, that can be represented as the higher value than the normal value. That is the higher value than the normal value, that is called as a positive deviation. And in case of case 2, that is called as a negative deviation. That is called as negative deviation. And whenever you get the lower value, then the required value or than the standard value, then it can be called as a negative deviation, right? So further we'll see the graphical representation of positive deviation as well as negative deviation from the Rolle's law, right? So already we have seen the Rolle's law graphical representation here. So this is the graphical representation for the positive deviation and negative deviation. This is very important. See here already. So here I have drawn the Rolle's law graphical representation, and here you can observe this red colored curve. So this red colored curve is above this dotted lines, which represents our normal value was this dotted line represents the normal value, which can be seen here. This is the graphical representation of the Rolle's law. Whenever you compare the case 1 with the Rolle's law, that is a positive deviation from the Rolle's law or higher value than the standard value, then what happens, this graphs will go above from the this graph will go above from the standard value, then this above curve represents the higher value than the normal value, and that is called as a positive deviation. Here you can observe for P1 is also it is increased, for P2 also it has increased, and for P total also it has increased. So this is called as a positive deviation from the Rolle's law. So here if you observe second one or case 2, that is negative deviation from the Rolle's law. So the normal Rolle's law graphical representation I have drawn here initially. Further, whatever the values I get, I will get below this standard line or below this dotted line, so which represent the value has been reduced or the value has been decreased. So that condition is called as a negative deviation from the Rolle's law. Right. So here we get the clear idea. I will draw the graph once again here. See here. So in this case, if I draw a graphical representation, so first condition was positive deviation, or you can take it as case 1, positive deviation. Deviation means there is a differentiated value, which means the value has been differentiated from the normal value, right? Or it is deviated from the normal. That is called as a positive value. And here if you see, so this is the normal Rolle's law graphical representation. So this is the combined graphical representation of two components. So we have observed that one. This looks like this, right? So this was our P total, and this was P1, this was P2, and this was P total. So that is P total is equal to P1 plus P2. So this is normal Rolle's law. Due to the increase in the value, see we have seen the positive deviation. Positive deviation means you will get the value higher than the normal value, right? So the value can be obtained, so which is higher than the normal value. So therefore what happens, since it is the P1, we have taken it as P1, so our graph deviates from here and it comes like this. This is very simple, right? So this is the graphical representation for P1. And here for P2, this is the graphical representation for P2, right? So that must be above the standard line. That is very important. That must be above the standard line. So then only we can call it as a positive deviation. So whenever P1 and P2 also increases, the P total also increases. It will come above the standard line like this, right? So this is the exact graphical representation for the positive deviation, right? So the same graph if we draw for the negative deviation, see here. In case of a negative deviation from Rolle's law, right? So negative deviation means it is a lesser value, right? So, or you can call it as a lower value, right? So this is the lower value. So first initially again we have to draw same Rolle's law graph, the graphical representation of Rolle's law, the same thing which we have drawn in the first graphical representation. See here. So this was for the, right? So Rolle's law. Here this is P1. You can take it as P2, and this is P total. P total is equal to P1 plus P2. When you compare this graph and this graph, here due to the higher value or positive deviation, the red colored curved line was above the standard value, because P1 is also increased, P2 is also increased. But due to the negative deviation, what happens? In P1, the graphical representation, it comes below the standard line. Even for P2, it comes below the standard line. And even the resultant, that is P1 plus P2, that is total value, it also, right? So here if you compare the positive and negative deviation, the curved lines or the changed value or the deviated value was more than the normal value, right? So the basic graphical representation is of the Rolle's law itself, but whenever you compare the higher value than the standard value, then you can get the positive deviation in the Rolle's law. And whenever you get the negative value or the lesser value when compared to the standard value, and that condition is generally called as negative deviation, and here in the graph you can observe. So P1 is also reduced, P2 is also reduced, and due to the reducing values of this P1 and P2, even the P total also reduces, and that is called as a negative deviation from the roads. Alright, so this can also be asked for 2 marks in the annual examination. So draw the graphical representation of positive deviation from Rhodes law, or draw the graphical representation of a negative deviation from Rhodes law. So before understanding this, you must understand the expression, that is P is directly proportional to X in case of Henry's law, and we know the normal graphical representation, that is in x-axis we have taken as x and y-axis we have taken it as, and here it goes on since it is mutually dependent, right? So mole, whenever you increase the mole fraction, pressure also increases, that is directly proportional, right? So whenever you decrease the mole fraction, the pressure of the molecule also decreases, right? So this is very important. Try to practice twice or thrice in your rough work, and definitely it can be asked for 2 to 3 marks in the annual examination. We'll continue in the next class. Thanks for joining.